Going on, Rain Gang family? What is going on, Ravens flock? Boy, do we have some things to discuss today. Ravens training camp day 7 was very, very eventful and pretty rainy as well. We're going to get into that and so much more here on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. But before I run the intro, do not forget to like the video.
You're watching Quiet Storm Sports on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Subscribe for more Ravens content.
Yes, sir. We are back with another episode of Quiet Storm Sports, a Baltimore Ravens show right here on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. I am your host, Sutton Def, and today we have a lot of things, like I said at the top of the show to touch on. So obviously Ravens training camp day 7 in the books, lots of things to talk about from that. But then you also had some interviews after the training camp that kind of revealed some interesting things about some of the players. You also had a big free agent acquisition from a team not named the Ravens today, but for a player that the Ravens fans really were clamoring for. Going to get to that and so much more here on this episode of the show. But before I do, I got to give a shout out to who's here in the live chat. You guys know we do these episodes live, so I got to give a shout out to who's in the live chat. All of you guys, I see y'all in the chat. I see Shelly Shell. Shelly's back. I haven't seen Shelly in a while. Long time no see. Thank you for coming back. Let me see. I see Void, another member in the chat. Mikey Jr., another member in the chat as well. I see Keto, another member in the chat. Shout out to all the Rain Gang channel members. And shout out to everybody watching live right now. Shout out to everyone watching live. Now, I do want to go over some quick housekeeping notes, okay? Some quick housekeeping notes before we get started with any other news here on this episode of the show. Number one, this is a members only call-in show. Okay, the lines aren't open yet. The lines, if you're watching live right now, the lines open at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are a member, channel member of PRP, all you got to do is go on our actual channel page, scroll over to the post tab. And again, it's only going to show up at 7:30 Eastern Time. And you'll see the link to call into the show. You can chop it up with your boy Sutton. Let me know how you're feeling about these Ravens a week through training camp. That's going to be at 7:30. Okay. Another thing for the members, because you know I got to do it for the members, right? Got to do it for the members. I told you guys at the very end of last night's, or I think it was Monday's episode, right? The Rain Gang Fantasy League is back. It is back. And this year, the stakes are higher, a lot higher. Because guess what? Like we said a couple of weeks ago, the winner of this year's fantasy is going to win a free Ravens jersey. Of course, the next flight, right? What else? You're going to get a free next flight jersey if you do win our fantasy league for this channel this year. Okay, so look. As you guys can see here, it's going to be a 12-man league. As of right now, there are only 2 teams out of the 12. You can basically count it as 3 because Alex hasn't joined up yet. We've had one other person join up, one other member of the channel. He's already in there. You can see my team over here, the Bait Believers. We are already ready to go. The other team is called Zay It Ain't So. Okay, so we already got some interesting team names in here. If you want to join, again, the Rain Gang Fantasy League for 2026 with that jersey on the line at the end of the season, all you have to do is become a channel member. And if you're already a channel member and you want to join, guess what? Same thing with the call-in. Go on the Purple Rain Podcast, the actual post tab on our channel, and you'll actually see right there how you can submit yourself for this league. Okay. So like I said, just had to start off with a couple of housekeeping issues there. I do want to quickly transition over to our training camp talk because training camp was very, very interesting today, to say the least. A lot of news came out of it, but the biggest thing for me was that it was a rainy day, super rainy day. As you guys can see here, it was pouring down. Lamar Jackson's trying to corral the ball. They didn't go out in pads today, which was interesting to me, right? Clearly, Jesse Minter is doing things a lot different than John Harbaugh, because I feel like in John Harbaugh, in his era, once the pads were on, they were on. Okay, pads weren't coming off, but what we've heard from some of the players, especially Lamar Jackson, he said, he listens. He's an ultimate team players coach, Jesse Minter, that is. That's what Lamar Jackson said about Jesse Minter, in the sense that he's not going to run them through the ringer every single day. Right. So I think the past couple of days have been like pretty physical practices. I think with the forecast today, they said, OK, look, it's going to be rainy out. We don't want to be balls to the wall in terms of physicality and things like that. So we're going to go no pads. We're still going to do 1-on-1s. We're still going to do 11-on-11, 7-on-7, but no pads. Right. So that's what we got today. As you guys can see here in this Ravens Media produced, which is actually shot really, really well. Really well. You always got to tip your cap to the Ravens Media team. They do an awesome job. So shout out to those guys, whoever that is. But yeah, let's go through some of these notes here. I'll read through the report here and we'll just kind of react as we go through. And again, guys, please be sure to like the video, whether you're watching live or if you're part of the replay gang, or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Okay. So let's get into it. For the first time in training camp, the Ravens had to deal with inclement weather. Moderate rain persisted through almost all of Wednesday's practice, and as a result, players had occasional trouble hanging on to wet footballs, as expected. There were a few drops that would have likely been catches under normal conditions, but the footballs rocketed off players' hands instead. You had backup quarterback Skylar Thompson, who tried to throw a pass rolling to his left during 11-on-11, but the ball slipped out of his hands on the windup. That's how wet the ball was. Later in practice, Matthew Hibner caught a pass, and the ball fell out of his grasp without anyone else touching it. Hibner jumped on the ball to prevent a turnover. Where was by the way, real quick, where was Mark Andrews? Like, I want to know, did he catch any ball? Like, we need to get Mark Andrews catching wet footballs. All right. If there was any day to get Mark Andrews on the jugs machine, it was today. Who's with me? Like the video if you're with me. Like the video if you're picking up what I'm putting down here. Okay. Because I remember the excuse as to why Mark Andrews, and I don't know why I'm like slandering Mark Andrews right now. I love him. I love what he's done for the franchise. But the excuse that he made for dropping that ball in the 2-point conversion in the 2024 playoffs was that his gloves were soaked. That was his excuse. Therefore, his ass should have been on the jugs machine today. And I understand that was under a different head coach. But if I'm Mark Andrews, I'm asking to get on the jugs machine. Hey, because listen, coach, I need it. Let me get on the jugs. Right? I would take that initiative if I were Mark. But again, shout out to Mark. I hope he has a bounce back season. Continuing through these notes here. It says, despite the offensive struggles under damp conditions, offensive coordinator Declan Doyle did not seem to mind playing in the rain. It says, and I quote, "You're pretty fortunate to actually get this weather during a training camp setting and being able to have to deal with the rain a little bit," Doyle said. "This actually happened to us earlier in OTAs. We practiced outside, and I didn't think we handled it particularly well. I do think that today they responded positively." He also said, "We play in the AFC North, and in order to win games late in the year, you're going to have to play in some bad weather games and things like this that are less than ideal. And so we've got to get used to playing in this weather." Again, I say get Mark Andrews' ass on the jugs machine. Okay. That was the first part of it. Let me see a little chat check in here. Check in with the chat. What's going on, live chat? I see Afia. Queendom come. What's going on? Heather, what up? The man, what's going on? ISO, I see you, my boy. Glaucoma, Christian. What up? Ravens Pro 2898 says, "I believe in Bateman, my guy." Then you're my guy then. You my guy. Okay. Drift Sports, what's going on, man? Says, "Sign me up." Oh, you got to join the channel membership, man. You got to join the channel membership. And then the instructions will be on our actual channel page, again, under the post tab. Again, that's if you're trying to join our Rain Gang Fantasy League. It's only for channel members this year. Got to give some love to the channel members. Steven, what's going on, Steven? All right, let's go ahead and get back to these notes here while you guys enjoy these beautiful footage of the Ravens practicing in the rain. Let me see. Here are other notes from Wednesday's practice without pads. After sitting out Tuesday's practice following an agreement to a contract extension, Zay Flowers returned to the field on Wednesday and scored 2 touchdowns during 11-on-11 in the red zone. Again, no pads on today, so you can kind of maybe take it with a grain of salt, but it is good to see that Zay Flowers, 24 hours removed from becoming a $140 million man, he's making plays. You know, I love to see that. So moving on from that, guard center Corey Bullock also returned to the practice field today as he passed his physical and was removed from the non-football injury list. Corey Bullock, who hadn't practiced since OTAs, will be a part of the Ravens' ongoing center competition, who as of right now, guys, we really still don't have an answer, like a clear and concise answer on who's going to play or who's going to start rather at center for this team. According to reports, you've seen Danny Pinter take some first team reps. You've seen Ethan Pozick take some first team reps, but the way that the coaches are talking about it, they're still really trying to see who's going to emerge as the guy. I was thinking that it was going to be Ethan Pozick's job to lose because why else would you bring him in? But I guess we'll just have to see. I'm hoping it's Ethan Posick, though, because I would rather go with veteran experience over just somebody who's inexperienced and just kind of praying that they can be solid on an offensive line, on an offense that has a lot of expectations, very high expectations, right? I'd rather have an experienced guy at that spot. Moving on from that, Jacoby Lane. Jack. Jack continues to stack. Okay, he's stacking days in practice, man. Today he made another superb catch. This time it was a leaping grab in the back of the end zone while being guarded by Marlon Humphrey during 7-on-7. And guess what? The Ravens, I think purposely, did not release this footage of Jacoby Lane seemingly mossing Marlon Humphrey. They didn't release that cinematic footage today, which leads me to believe maybe it was like really embarrassing for Marlo. I'm just saying, because if he was just like in the vicinity, right, he didn't really jump with him, and Jacoby Lane, just came down with it naturally, then I think they would have posted it. But like if he like really like posterized Marlon Humphrey, I think out of respect for the 10-year vet, they might have said, okay, we're not going to post that one today. Instead, we're going to give you this super cool video of the Ravens practicing in the rain as a collective unit, right? But Jacoby Lane, again, he continues to make plays, and Jesse Minter talked about that today. He said, hey, look, if you make a play a day, I guess what Dr. Jesse saying, make a play a day and you'll keep the bench away, right? You'll have time in the game. You'll get some PT as long as you make a play a day in training camp. And so far, Jacoby Lane has been doing exactly that. So I'm super excited for Jack, man. That's why I put the poll in the chat. Who do you think the Ravens' current wide receiver 3 is? I'm going to check on that poll here in a few minutes, but I think firmly right now it's got to be Jacoby Lane. It's got to be Zay Flowers 1, of course, Rashad Bateman 2, and then Jacoby Lane 3. And the beautiful thing about it is those guys have all different skill sets. They have all different skill sets. So it's just, how are you going to go about planning for this Ravens offense, specifically the passing game, right? You have a finite amount of resources, but you have to deal with all these different kind of play styles in terms of their pass catchers. Now, we'll see what Mark Andrews, again, can offer us, because I think that he can be the piece that kind of ties it together as the veteran. And, of course, you always have to account for Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. But these pass catchers are – this pass catching room – or let me break this down. This wide receiver room is the most intriguing that it's been in a very long time. If you ask me. Let me see. K-Bar Moving is in the chat. What's going on, K-Bar Moving? It says Bateman, wide receiver 4. Tez is showing good promise to be a wide receiver 3. But Bateman's also had a good camp, though. Now, I do have some speculatory stuff on Bateman. You guys know I kind of read too deep into things. Somebody actually commented on my video earlier, some stuff about Bateman that I want to get to in a second here. But let me keep going through these notes here. Roquan Smith intercepted Lamar Jackson early in practice on a short throw over the middle, then lateraled the ball to Malachi Starks while running down the right side of the field. If it were an actual game, Smith and Starks might have pulled off something like what Kyle Van Noy and Alohi Gilman did last year against the Bengals. We all remember that. But my nose was like turned up to the season at that point. I didn't even really care when that play happened. It was a cool play, right? But I was just like, the season's pretty much over anyway. Moving on, though, Josh Cuevas sightings. We got Josh Cuevas sightings today. He had his most productive day of training camp. He tallied 3 touchdown catches, 2 during 7-on-7 in the red zone, and 1 during 11-on-11 in the red zone. His best touchdown catch was his second of the day, a sliding grab on a throw from Tyler Huntley. Cuevas also made a catch over the middle of the field for a long gain on a throw from Skylar Thompson. So it's good to hear that Josh Cuevas is finally starting to come into his own on a rainy day. Granted, again, no pads, so take it with a grain of salt. However, it is good to hear that one of the tight ends are stepping up. Matthew Hibner, we heard yesterday, had led the entire tight end room in receptions thus far through day 6 of training camp. I'm sure he probably still does, because Josh Cuevas was really quiet in the first week, but it's good to hear that he kind of got his feet wet with a couple of touchdowns. And it's funny, every time I look up Josh Cuevas' name, like on Google or whatever, I always run into Alabama Reddit, because Josh Cuevas, he went to Alabama, and everybody on the Alabama Reddit page as it pertains to Josh Quaves. Like, all those fans talk about how the Ravens got a steal and how he was, in some games a really, really, really big part of Alabama's offense. So we'll see if that can kind of translate to the league. I would love to see it, but we're going to have to continue to monitor that, okay? Going to have to continue to monitor that one. Let me see. So Octavian Smith Jr. Had consecutive touchdown catches during 7-on-7 and almost had a third touchdown later. Bilal Kone, who came off the PUP list last week, had a stellar pass breakup at the goal line, preventing a touchdown by knocking the ball out of Smith Jr.'s hands. So it's good to hear that, like, some of these like lower key guys. I mean, yesterday it was David Olajiga. Actually, last 2 days it was David Olajiga. Today it's Octavian Smith Jr. Guys you never really heard of before, right? But they're making plays in camp. If you want to earn your keep, that's how you do it. Because it's going to be this 53-man roster. Whenever they have to finalize it, it's going to be tight. Okay, it's going to be tight. It's not going to be a whole lot of room for, miscellaneous / accessory players. It's just not. So continue to stack, young man. Continue to stack. Octavian Smith Jr. Another player who came off the PUP list last week, Adisa Isaac, had a strip sack of Skylar Thompson and recovered the fumble. So Adisa Isaac, the man, the myth, the legend, the one who, probably the one Ravens player where if I saw him walking down the street, if he passed me, I would not recognize him, right? However, since he's been back, he's been making some plays, so that's good to hear too. You really need more edge depth, right? I mean, a lot of us were clamoring for Clowney. And now that he's a Houston Texan, it's like, okay, what do we do now? Now, if Adisa Isaac steps up, he can become like a rotational player, maybe garbage time, third and fourth quarter when you don't really want Hendrickson or Mike Green out there too much. You can throw Adisa Isaac into the mix, and as long as he can make plays, because at that point, if it's garbage time, you're just asking him basically, hey, look, pin your ears back, get after the quarterback. If he can start getting after the quarterback, then maybe we'll see a little bit of a resurgence of his career. Who knows though? Who knows? Adisa Isaac equals AI. For real, honestly. God's favorite, what up? Saved AA, what up? Syndicate 707, I see you in the chat. And also, of course, big shout out to the replay gang as well. Make sure you leave a like on the video. Comment down below if you have any thoughts, comments, questions, or concerns. You guys know the drill. All right. You also had CJ Okoye. Had one of the louder pass breakups during training camp so far, swatting a pass at the line of scrimmage from Tyler Huntley that looked like a basketball block. Okay. All right. So CJ Okoye got his big mitts up there and got in the passing lane of Tyler Huntley. And, it probably made a nice little sound. So CJ Okoye, he's another guy on that D-line who you would hope makes this 53-man roster, and you can hope he can turn into something, but we'll just have to see. But those were the main news and notes from the actual training camp portion of practice, right? So let me bring us back over here. Okay. And so I want to go through some of the things that the coaches and players said. First of all, okay, before camp took place today, the Ravens had posted a YouTube video that was scheduled to go live after camp finished. And they said that it was going to be Zay Flowers speaking at the podium, which is obvious, right? He just got paid yesterday. But it was also supposed to be Rashad Bateman. But when the interview and the presser portion of the day came around, we heard pretty much everybody but Bateman speak. You heard Zay Flowers speak. You heard Declan Doyle speak. You heard Anthony Weaver speak. You even heard Anthony Levine Sr. speak, right? But no Bateman. He was nowhere to be found. And so I did a little bit of investigative journalism. Hit up my boy Jeff Zarebek on Twitter. Say, yo, Jeff, this smells fishy. What's going on? Jeff responded to me, and Jeff said that it was just a quote-unquote shuffle, a last-minute shuffle, right? There's no conspiracy behind it. These are Jeff's words, not mine. He said there's no conspiracy behind it. It was just a last-minute shuffle as to why Bateman did not get up there at the podium today. Now, here's the part that I can neither confirm nor deny. I had somebody in the comment section of my video that I posted earlier when I recapped day 7, like instant recap, Make sure you go check that out as well. It's like 10 minutes long. They said that they were watching Good Morning Football and Mark Andrews was getting interviewed, I assume by Kay Adams or whoever it is, right? Who was at practice today, by the way. And he said that while Mark Andrews was getting interviewed, he saw Bateman in the background kind of limping. Now, since I didn't catch the live broadcast of Good Morning Football, I can neither confirm nor deny that. But when I put two and two together, you know, the Ravens woke up today thinking that Rashad Bateman was going to speak at the podium. And then all of a sudden, last minute, he doesn't. When I put two and two together, it kind of tells me, okay, maybe he was a little banged up. Maybe they did say, you know what, Rashad, take the day off, just go home, get some rest. You know, we've got enough interviews lined up. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe not. I don't know. Okay, I don't know for sure. So I can neither confirm nor deny that information. But it's just something to think about. It's just something to think about. Kay Adams says she's not on that show anymore. Well, whoever it was. Yeah, I don't know. I think she's with like Get Up or something. I don't know who she's with. Maybe she's independent. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I was told. That's what I was told. So I don't know. We'll see. I did see the Kay Adams interview with Jesse Minter earlier today, and didn't really get too much out of it. I mean, I think maybe a big takeaway was that he said that he's going to use Kyle Hamilton in a slightly different way than what he uses Derwin James. He said that Kyle Hamilton could legitimately start at least 4 or 5 positions on the defense, right? I mean, if I had to guess those positions, I'd probably say, you know, of course, safety, of course, corner, edge, right? You could put him at inside linebacker if you want to. 4 or 5 spots. Yeah, I mean, that's about right. That sounds about right. You know, I've always made the joke that if you put 11 Kyle Hamiltons versus opposing NFL offense, the 11 Kyle Hamiltons, they'll be competitive, right? That's just the type of unicorn type of player that Kyle Hamilton is, right? So Jeremy Fowler interviewed Mark Andrews when you can see Bateman. Okay, I think it was Drift Sports who put it in my comments earlier today. Thank you, Drift, for clarifying that. Thank you for clarifying. Oh, Up and Adams. That's Kay Adams' new show. That's right. Okay. All right. So, other things that were said today at the Ravens presser. So you had Zay Flowers speak, right? Zay Flowers said some interesting things. I think the biggest thing for me was the fact that he mentioned that he once again hears the criticisms. Okay, he once again hears the criticisms, much like last season, that he, you know, doesn't run straight and that he wants to fix that by, you know, getting north more often. And I was just saying this yesterday. You guys know, if you guys were on the stream, I was just saying that, you know, Zay Flowers getting that $140 million. I love that for him. Okay, I love that for him. But with a pay raise comes higher expectations. It just does. Okay. And I don't mean that to crap on Zay, but there are some things that he could add to his game and take out of his game that would make him a better wide receiver. I do believe that. So Zay Flowers said today he heard the complaints about his east to west yards after catch tendencies. So he put on 8 pounds to run through more tackles. He said he's up to 186 pounds this preseason, which is crazy. Like for an NFL player. I mean, Zay Flowers is like a little smaller than me, you know, and I could just imagine me being out there on the gridiron in the NFL going up against these animals, for lack of a better word. I mean, these guys are beasts out there, and most of them are, you know, 6'1", 6'2", and above, 220 pounds and above and stuff like that, and they're trying to take your head off. Right. So I understand where Zay is coming from when he has like concerns about, you know, whether or not he's going to be able to be as physical as other receivers. And that's why he kind of jukes back and forth to try to avoid guys and use his agility to his advantage. But at the end of the day, bro, to become like that true wide receiver one, as you guys know, I think you do have to threaten the defense a little bit more and score more touchdowns. Like I want to see more plays like against that Denver Broncos defense a couple of seasons ago, where he picks one angle and runs straight and he ends up making it to the end zone. He beats like 4 guys around the corner. Bateman gives him a nice block at the end there. That's what I want to see. I want to see more of that. And I assume that this 8 pounds that Zay Flowers put on is 8 pounds of muscle, right? Because the biggest thing is for him to be able to, I'm not saying, look, I heard Coach say earlier in his stream, and shout out to Coach, Sip to Tally Films, make sure y'all go subscribe. But I heard Coach say earlier, like, don't try to like run through guys, just get down, protect the ball, which I agree with. I'm not saying go head up with middle linebackers, not saying that at all. But I am saying, if you have an angle on a guy, since you know you are quicker and faster than him, if all he's able to offer you is an arm tackle, I need you to run through those this year. I need you to run through those this year. If you end up getting wrapped up, so be it. But I need you to run through those. I need him to run a little bit harder. And I think that this 8 pounds of muscle that he's packed on may allow him to do that at least maybe a little bit better. Okay. He's just kind of have to get it out of his muscle memory. That like, hey, I got to juke every time somebody even tries to cut me off. No, you can run through some of these guys, especially, again, I'm not saying go head up with a middle linebacker, but if you are in the teeth of the secondary, you're going up against deep safeties or a corner who rotated over or whatever, right? And they stick an arm out because they don't have a good angle. Doesn't mean you have to cut back. Just run through it. Okay, just run through it. Let me check the chat really quick. 151 people watching live right now. Thank you guys so much for coming through to this episode of Quiet Storm Sports, where we cover all things Baltimore Ravens. If that sounds good to you, we will be live all season long covering this Ravens team. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Kwame says he's not built for that. Smitty says, nah. Kwame says, hell nah. Okay. Nah, bro, we don't want him to get hurt. Listen, man, this is football. At the end of the day, this is football. Yeah, you are running full speed into other grown. That's just the nature of the game. It's a violent sport. Nobody said it was pretty. You know, and I just think that Zay Flowers, if he can just like develop that mentality that like, hey, I am a dog, right? Like, we've seen smaller receivers be able to do that sort of stuff. Steve Smith Sr., Tyreek Hill, to an extent, Antonio Brown. They wasn't worried about no arm tackles. And all of those guys were in similar stature to what Zay Flowers is. Okay. Mikey Jr. with the gifted membership in the chat. Thank you so much, Mikey. Let me see. Pull that up on screen. Clap it up for Mikey in the chat, man, for the one time. Shout out to Mikey gifting the membership in the chat. That one goes to Irish Dave 82. Irish Dave 82. Shout out to you. And oh yeah, that's right. So now our phone lines are open. Our phone lines are open. Like I said, it's a member-only call-in show. The instructions to call into the show will be on the little ticker at the bottom of the screen, but I'll reiterate really quick right now. If you want to call in and chop it up with me for a few minutes, all you have to do, if you are a channel member, if you're not already, become a channel member and you'll be able to do it too. You go to our actual YouTube channel homepage, you scroll over to the posts tab, and if you're a channel member, it should show up for you and you only with the call-in link, so you can call in and chop it up with your boy for a few minutes. Let me know how you're feeling about this Ravens team. And if you're watching on X right now and you want to do that, make sure you come on over to YouTube, Purple Rain Podcast. You guys know the drill. Okay. Sign up for the membership. And there you go. And again, also, if you're a member of the channel, you're automatically eligible to sign up for our fantasy league. You just have to be one of the first 10 people to hit us up about it. And there's another post on our channel about that as well. Okay. But moving on from the Zay Flowers thing. So he also said a couple of other things, you know, about his contract, how blessed he is, which, you know, of course, you love to hear that. And he also talked about how Lamar Jackson and Tyler Huntley took him out to dinner last night to celebrate. Would love to know where they took him. How much do we think the tab was for that dinner? What do we think the over-under was for the tab was on that dinner? Zay Flowers, Lamar Jackson, and Snoop Huntley. Because we talked about, me and Alex speculated how much the offensive line's dinner was last week with like Venga Ioane and all those guys. And I think we went to around like, what, 5, 6K, something like that. And that might be on the low side. But Zay, Lamar, and Huntley, probably not drinking, you know, practice the next day, next morning. I say they probably ran up like about they probably popped a little champagne or something like that. Bought a nice bottle of champagne. I go $2,000. I mean, Zay Flowers only 186. You know what I'm saying? He ain't even but so much, obviously, right? But I'll go $2,000 on that. Let me know what you think down below in the chat. It's all in fun. All in fun. Lamar paid the bill. Oh, you know it. You know it. SV Cam says 5K? I don't know, man. 5K is a lot. That's a lot. Afia says, damn it, I didn't know it was open lines today. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to start doing these on Wednesday, like every Wednesday. That's going to be part of the new content schedule, especially when the season rolls around. Wednesday, middle of the week, right? We're getting ready for another football week, and we're coming off of another one. So I'll do, call-ins for that. So just so you guys know, on Wednesdays, and I think I was doing that a little bit earlier in the offseason too. But yeah. Let me see. Maddie, what's going on? Maddie says, what's up, Sutton? Please keep those training camp videos going. Best idea you've had in the channel's history. Okay. Thank you so much, Maddie. I got you. I mean, I needed that. I need every single ounce of support that you guys give me. Sometimes your boy Sutton be going through it himself. Sometimes life be lifing. And when I see comments like that, Maddie, it really does, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. And yes, I will continue to produce and post those training camp videos. And those videos aren't stopping. Those videos are going into the season, previewing every game, reacting to every game. It's going to be, yeah. And again, those videos are like 10 to 12 minutes long. So for those of you guys who don't always have time to listen to the live streams, you can listen to those videos if you still want to get your boy's opinions. Okay. Tanja, what's going on, Tanja? Says, hey, Sutton and Flock. I just got off and listening in. Well, listen up, Tanja. If you are driving home, if you're on the way home, be safe. Be safe driving. Okay, if you're already home, welcome home. Shout out to you. Thank you for joining the show. So let's see. So Zay Flowers, that was him. That was his tidbits today. You also had Declan Doyle talking about Jacoby Lane earlier.
I mean, going through his evaluation, what we thought about him.
Mikey, appreciate the jewels.
And that is, he's got this huge catch radius. He's got great hands. He's very sticky. He's a very different player than like the guy that I was around that his hands remind me of is like Mike Thomas. Mike Thomas had these strong hands where he could pull it down and away, and you threw it in the vicinity and you felt like he was going to go get it. There's a lot of that feeling. He's a very friendly guy to throw to. Jack is working extremely hard to learn all of it, and I'm really happy with that progress. Every single day, like he grabbed me right before we came off the field and he's like, hey coach, I messed up, this. And I'm like, hey, you recognize what you made a mistake on. Now the next step is let's fix it before that happens. And so for a lot of young guys, like, it's Jack, it's any of our rookies, we're asking them to be very detailed. We're asking them to, play at a very high level from an IQ standpoint and seeing the defense and those things changing what they might be doing and responding to. And I've been really happy with how all of our guys are stressing to try to grow in that area.
I love how excited Declan Doyle sounds. Like he's like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when he starts talking about Jacoby Lane. And I love that little tidbit in there where like Jacoby Lane goes up to Declan Doyle and he's like, hey, look, man, I messed up in training camp. Like, I know I did this. I'm going to work on it this way and I'm going to come back strong, whatever he said. But Declan Doyle sees that. Listen, I got to check that poll. Again, because I firmly think that Jacoby Lane is going to be wide receiver 3 on this team. Because my biggest thing is that we mentioned how these new coaches owe no loyalty to anybody who's been on this team, anybody who has some sort of tenure on this team, like Tez Walker, Rashad Bateman. Zay Flowers just got paid 140 M, so of course they're going to have loyalty to him. Got to get your money's worth. But Jacoby Lane kind of being that fresh face who kind of came into the Ravens with them in real time, those guys are going to get opportunities. And we were wondering, in training camp, who was going to look better between Jacoby Lane and Elijah Surratt. A lot of us speculated that early on, Elijah Surratt would look more polished. He would just look flat out better than Jacoby, and it would take Jacoby a little bit of time to kind of develop into his pro form. But it's been quite the opposite. Because now is the third day? Now's the third day. One is just like a coincidence. Maybe even 2 is a coincidence, but 3 times? 3 days where he's gotten highlight plays in training camp? That's a trend. And the fact that he's already holding himself accountable to the coaches, these new coaches who are also, again, new with him, I think that means a lot. I think that means a lot. I think it means a lot to Declan Doyle. I think it means a lot to Jesse Minter. And I think it's going to be big, really, really big for Jacoby Lane. God's favorite says, Jacoby, take your chain lane. Oh, I like that. I like that. Jacoby, take your chain lane. Wait. Who chain he taking, though? Who chain he taking? Queendom, did you already read Sutton for bait shirking the media availability? Notice how he didn't mention bait. Oh my gosh, guys. What are we doing? What are we doing? Lane wide receiver 2? You know, I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at it. You guys know I'm the #1 Bateman believer. Streets are saying that maybe he's a little banged up right now, and maybe that's why you haven't really heard his name the past 2 days at training camp. But I mean, if Jacoby Lane is wide receiver 2, that means he's actually making plays in games. And that's the next evolution of this. We got to see him do this against players that wear another jersey, right? Players that are fighting to keep food on the table. Players that are fighting for a roster spot on another team. You know, that's what I need to see next. And I believe he can do it. I believe he can do it. But we're just going to continue to monitor and see. Okay? Again, guys, welcome into the show. If you're just now joining us, this is Quiet Storm Sports right here on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, where we cover all things Baltimore Ravens. Again, shout out to you guys for coming through to this one. This is a members-only call-in episode. That members-only call-in link is live on our channel page. So if you want to check that out, you can definitely do so. All right, what else did I have from the notes today from training camp? Let me see. Let's go on the Ravens page, as a matter of fact. Where are my Ravens? Here we go. Yeah, here we go. How y'all think the Cowboys going to do this year? Like, seriously. What do we think about the Cowboys? Let's take a listen to some things that Anthony Weaver had to say, shall we?
Well, he's improving.
Oh, Keandre Jackson talk. I like this.
Keandre, from the first day I was here in the spring and where he is now, he's probably in the running for most improved.
Okay.
He's constantly working at his craft in all facets of the game, defense, special teams. But it's funny, John used to say, like, the ball finds energy, right? And he's one of those guys where if he's messing up, he's doing it full speed, and he's probably going to make something good happen. So I love the kid. His technique, his communication has improved dramatically. And I know right now, if we had to play a game tomorrow, and he had to go out there and play for us, I have a tremendous amount of trust that he can go out there and get his job done.
Well, love to hear that. I mean, Keandre Jackson is a guy. I mean, honestly, a lot of these lower depth chart DBs have been showing out in training camp. We've heard a lot about Keandre Jackson, right? We've heard a lot about Keon Martin. We've heard a lot about Robert Longerbeam. Bilal Kone came back today and was making plays. I mean, I feel really good about the depth of the secondary room. About the only piece that worries me on this secondary right here, right now, is Marlon Humphrey. He's the only one. Like I said yesterday, y'all, he is free eats. Free eats. And I just don't know, like, how long of a leash that Jesse Minter is going to have on him, right? I just don't know how long of a leash he's going to have on him, because if he's getting beat deep, you know, if he's getting out-muscled, I mean, Jacoby Lane out-muscled him and basically threw him to the ground. This is a rookie. He's like Jacoby Spider-Man Lane. Jacoby Spider-Man Lane. Because he's like Spider-Man. He's like Miles Morales. He's like a kid. Just shove Marlon Humphrey to the ground. Then beats him deep in the beats him in the end zone today. Mosses him. To the point where the Ravens media didn't even want to show us. Because why wouldn't you show Jacoby Lane making plays if it weren't embarrassing for Marlon Humphrey? That's just my opinion on it. You know, maybe that's not actually what happened, but that's just my take. That's my take. All right, what else Weaver had to say? Void with the Super Chat donation. Thank you so much, Void. Void says, is Marlon the defensive Bateman, a.k.a. Fa'alele light? Nah. I think Marlon is just like, no, because Marlon, he had his heyday. Bateman never really had a heyday. Fa'alele never really had a heyday. Marlon did. When he was like Fruit Punch Marlo, he had his time where he was firmly a top 5 or at least top 10 corner in this league. But now, unfortunately, I do believe that those days are over. Unfortunately. So I think that Marlon Humphrey, he's really just the defense's Mark Andrews. That's all it really boils down to. Like, you don't really know what you're going to get out of him. You just don't. Like, in the last couple of seasons, you've had times where Mark Andrews makes some plays and you're like, okay, that's the vintage Mark that we want to see. And same thing with Marlon. But they've been wildly inconsistent for players of their caliber, But that's what happens when you become a vet. You start to lose some things. All right, let's see what else Anthony Weaver had to say today.
Better when I'm
talking about Zay Flowers now.
On the opposite side of a practice field than the opposite side of a real game field. He is a nightmare. But he's one of those guys where he's not just quick. He doesn't have just long speed. Like, he gets from 0 to 60 like this. And there's not many guys that you can just match up with that. So most of the time you have to allocate 2 guys to him, which doesn't work in your favor when you're already minus on defense already. So he is a special talent. He deserved all the money that he got yesterday, man. God bless him. I wouldn't even know what to do with that much money. Probably wouldn't be here talking to you guys, I gotta be honest. But I'm happy for Zay, man. He deserves it, and he's a heck of a player.
All right, and that is Barry White Weaver, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to him. At the end of the bar, dropping the super chat donation. Thank you so much. At the end of the bar. Says, who's better, Marlon Humphrey, Trayvon Diggs, or Marshawn Lattimore? I don't even know if Marshawn Lattimore's on a team right now. I could be wrong about that. Trayvon Diggs, I don't know. I don't necessarily know about him either. I think he might have gotten picked up, but I don't think so. I'd go with the guy who's still rostered. I'm taking Marlo for again, how bad. I can't even call Marlon Humphrey bad. He had a down year last season, gave top 5 in most receiving yards allowed. But I think there's some context to that as well. Just like we give a lot of other people on the defense the benefit of the doubt, I think that we should also afford that same grace for Marlon Humphrey, because he was also in that dreaded Zach Orr defense, And at the end of the bar says, nope, they're both still available. And I think that's for a reason. It's for a reason. So I'll go with Marlon. I think I'll go with Marlon. If Marlo is washed, then Lattimore is super washed. Facts. Spicy Rice. And shout out to you. Nigerian Nightmare is joining us. A salute Sutton in the community. What is good, chat? Salute to you, brother. Thank you for coming through. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. What else do we have? What else did we have here? And if we don't get any call-ins today, that's okay. Just know you guys have the opportunity to do this on Wednesdays, so you can better prepare. Maybe you want to join up next week. I know Afia said she did. But we're going to keep it pushing, though. Let me see. What else did we get from Deck?
Absolutely. I mean,
I think we already watched the Jacoby Lane.
A lot of different things.
Let's listen to Declan Doyle talk about Zay.
I think that's the best part about him is you can kind of move him all over the place. He can play inside. He can play outside. He's
true.
A willing blocker, which he's proved and put on tape.
Who remembers that pancake block that Zay Flowers got last year? I can't remember which team that was against. If you remember, drop it in the chat. Because I know y'all remember that Zay Flowers pancake block that led to a touchdown. I think it was a Derrick Henry touchdown. Who was that? Which team was that against? Bonus points if you know who it was that he pancake blocked. Who was that, chat?
He embodies a lot of the things that we're looking for in a lot of different ways. When we talk about building the receiver room, we're trying to build a basketball team. It just so happens that he can play multiple positions on that basketball team.
I love that.
It allows you to be flexible. It allows you to try to put...
He said if we're trying to build a receiving room, we're trying to build a basketball team. Right? We already got our point guard. And I know it's a little bit apples to oranges in some regards, because basketball and football, obviously those two sports are very different. But you already got your guy who can move around and stuff like that. You can do different things with. That's your point guard, Zay Flowers. Right? Then you've got your guard, scoring guard / small forward type of guy, and Rashad Bateman. You know what I mean? He's a scorer. 2024, he had 11 touchdowns. Don't let anybody tell you 9 touchdowns. He had 11. Why does nobody want to count the postseason when it matters most? Bateman had 11 touchdowns in 2024. Obviously, major regression in 2025. But again, just like most other guys on the roster, not named Daniel Faalele at the time, we'll give them grace, at least for the time being. But then you got your center. You got your big power forward / center in Jacoby Lane, who, hey, look, if you just need to throw it up to him, he's going to come down with it off some alley-oop type stuff. Yeah, I'm liking the sound of that.
Him in different situations where he might have an advantage on, a scheme matchup or, a defensive structure. And so he's really integral in what we're trying to do. He's embraced all of it. He's embraced all of the spots that we've put him, and we're only continuing to grow there. He can do a lot of different things.
Love that from Deck. Love that from Coach Deck. Let me see if anybody had that answer in the chat. It was against the Bengals. Oh, he blocked for Keaton Mitchell against the Bengals and against Daxton Hill, is what I'm seeing. Okay. Hey, y'all on it. See, this is why I rock with y'all. Nice job, guys. If Bateman shows out, I'll be the happiest man for being wrong. Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. That's why I don't mind leaning into all this Bateman mumbo jumbo, even though they're facts, right? 11 touchdowns, and like Kwame says, facts. I mean, he's a good receiver, right? But even if I'm right, and a lot of people who are in the bait hate book end up being wrong, right? Even though it's all fun, then that's still good for us. It's still great for Ravens fans. All right. So let's go ahead and move along here to some other things that were spoken on today. Let me see. Go back here to my bookmarks. Regularly scheduled Jacoby Lane tweet. Okay. So Derrick Henry made a tweet today, kind of cryptic. He deleted it. He has since deleted this tweet, but he was on the Up and Adam show earlier today, where I guess he was talking about him wanting to retire as a Raven. And then Derrick Henry quote tweets this clip from K Adams show, Up and Adams. And he says, I would like to finish my playing career with the Ravens. Never said anything about retiring, LOL. I'm enjoying being a Raven. I'll worry about that retirement shit later. That's what he says. And as soon as he tweeted this, I saw it, like within 60 seconds of him tweeting it. So I immediately jumped in the comments. I said, respectfully, King, what do you mean by that? Because like it wasn't really adding up. It wasn't really computing to me. But you see, when I go and click on this tweet, it says it doesn't exist. Okay, like he deleted the tweet. All right, so kind of cryptic there. I don't know if he necessarily meant to say that. I don't know if he was like hearing people saying like, oh, Derrick Henry must be retiring. He must be retiring. But he comes up and tries to clear it up here, but doesn't really clear it up and then deletes the tweet. So I don't really know what to make of that, chat. I really don't, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. I do have a guest backstage, somebody calling into the show, a member here on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring him up on stage. It's going to be at the end of the bar. What's going on at the end of the bar? How you doing, man?
What's up, son? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Oh, it's Modius.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, it's Modius. You changed your name. I love it though. All right. So how are you feeling as Modius? I mean, like, how you been for one, and then also, what are you feeling about this Ravens team through 7 days of training camp?
I mean, so I was there on the Saturday training camp, and on Saturday, I mean, the players that showed out, I would say Adam Randall really showed out. I'm gonna say this is gonna piss you off, but I'm gonna say it anyway because it's my own personal opinion. Sure. I thought when I was seeing Jacoby Lane doing his foot movement drills, he looked either maybe just as, if not maybe a little more shifty than Bateman did.
That doesn't piss me off.
He has very, very light feet, and I was surprised by that. So, I'm really curious about what that's going to do for, what that means, how that's going to translate on the field. Obviously, I didn't get to see the padded practice and whatnot. And we haven't seen a game yet, but I mean that looks to be a faster Isaiah Likely replacement, and hopefully
Mm.
he can, you know, hopefully he doesn't have those like near makes it, and instead it's like a really, he has more hits than misses than Isaiah Likely did. Like he had a lot of things that like millimeters away from actually getting it to be good that just didn't
Mm.
go his way. So that's one
Yeah.
thing I would like for Jacoby, which I think he can. Just I mean, all things considered, the way that he's played in college and his single catch ability. I mean, you saw him go up for that catch with one hand. I mean, he's showing out. I mean, granted, don't want to get too high too quickly. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember not too long ago, Miles Boykin was one where they kept talking, hyping him up in practice, and then he turned out to not be anything, and he never became anything.
Yeah, but
I
I
remember the
feel
same
like
thing for.
Boykin was not as confident as Jacoby Lane is, right? He was kind of like this quiet guy. Even his touchdown celebration. You guys remember his touchdown celebration? It was just like weird and very like non what's the word? Anticlimactic,
Uninspired.
uninspired, right? You know what I mean? I just don't think he has that same juice that Jacoby does. Jacoby has that confidence. You even saw Michael Thomas tweeted out yesterday. He said, "Hey, look, when a guy like him knows that you can't guard him, then you can't guard him. Like he knows he's got that like kind of swag, that juice that what's his name? What's his name that you just mentioned? Miles Boykin didn't have. So I think it's a little bit different there.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're going to be the like players at all. Not even
Hmm.
close.
Hmm.
What I am saying is I'm trying to temper expectations till we actually see a game. That's all I'm getting at with that one. I mean, I remember two other big body wide receivers were Jaleel Scott and Jordan Lasley. So, I mean, I remember them, drafting big guys, it not going their way for a little bit, but at the same time, I mean, it's a different era now. So, I think, this time around, I think the wide receivers are actually going to be hits, and I think I have bigger question marks on the tight ends at the moment.
Let me ask you a question, Asmodeus. It's kind of like a would you rather. Would you rather the Ravens start the season with Jacoby Lane as kind of like their wide receiver two, or would you rather the Ravens start the season with Adam Randall as their backup running back two?
So, okay, so I don't mean to cop out, but I mean the answer is going to be that Jacoby Lane is not going to be the wide receiver two in the beginning of the season.
Okay.
I wouldn't hate it because it's not going to be the hardest competition ever.
Yeah.
But they're gonna, I think they're gonna have him be three, and then they're gonna see on the field who looks better between Bateman and him, and they'll make a decision in the middle of the year. Adam Randall, I think he's gonna. I think he's probably gonna be kickoff punt return specialist, and I mean, I think the thing about him is that he looks really good right now. He is a raw runner, but he is really good with his hands. So what I would say for an Adam Randall standpoint, I wouldn't be shocked if he was a red zone target. In the
Really?
beginning of yeah, he would be a red zone target. He has some freaking hands, man.
What do you think? Like you
Um,
motion him out wide, or you put him on like a little wheel, or what?
as a catching wide receiver, as
Oh,
a wide
okay.
receiver that can catch, he can really catch. Like
Yeah, interesting.
he
Interesting.
he has like his hands are up there with a Jacoby Lane. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, because he's naturally a receiver, and I've been saying like for him to transition from being a receiver to being a running back in his first running back year, being at Clemson and scoring 10 touchdowns and averaging 5 yards a carry, and then you saw at the stadium practice how his hands are really really good. Those hands, like you mentioned before, like there was one play where like it goes like the ball was like really low and he still caught it. Like most running backs aren't getting to that ball, but he
Hmm.
did. So his hands are impressive. I will say that. But you bring up a good point. Like maybe you motion him out wide and he's in maybe a 2x2 or a 3x1. I don't know. Like it would be interesting to see Adam Randall, like how defenses would cover that, because I don't know, like if it's on the scouting report, like, hey, when this guy's on the field, watch out for him motioning out, watch out for him catching out of the backfield. But interesting stuff nonetheless. Real quick, Chris M dropping the $5 super chat donation. Thank you, Chris. My good sis, Chris. She says, someone said the tweet is still up and you're just blocked. It's funny because I saw your super chat when you posted it, and I wanted to let Asmodeus finish, but I went on Derrick Henry's page. I'm not blocked. I think he just deleted the tweet and just re-uploaded it. I guess he had a little typo on it or whatever, but yeah, it is what it is. I guess it's just a big nothing burger there. He wants to retire as a Raven or finish out his playing career as a Raven, but he doesn't want to retire yet. So, it is what it is. But thank you, Chris. Now, Asmodeus, anything else you got for me on this Ravens team? How you feeling? Like, what else you got for me?
Yeah, I would say when Lamar Jackson was talking about Zion Young, that's exactly what I was seeing on Saturday. I mean, he was going 120 miles an hour, every single snap he was on.
Yeah.
And every single snap he was on, he was in front of the quarterback's face. So, that's something that he gives me, with that relentless motor, he gives me a lot more Crosby vibes than maybe I was saying before earlier in the season.
Okay.
So I've comped him before. When Crosby came out into the from the draft into the NFL, there's question marks about his pass rush ability. What he was known for was run and stopping ability. And then obviously he developed into a pass rusher, and now he's one of the best ones in the game. I think with Jesse Minter as being the head coach, I think he has a chance of being like a younger version of that, which, that definitely excites me when you're considering that we're about to give 2 first-round picks for him. Another player that really, that showed out, and I think he may end up being wide receiver 5 or 6, is Dayton Wade. So I saw Dayton Wade go up for a sideline catch. I pointed the ball, and I was, at first when I saw that person go up there, I thought that was Jacoby Lane, and no, it was Dayton Wade. Like, it was impressive what he was doing on the field as well.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely, interested in seeing what he does. He could be hopefully used more than Tylan Wallace, but it could be like a Tylan Wallace replacement as well.
Yeah.
And then I would say, from there, I was able to see the Mark Andrews run. I mean, he still looks like he can run, but then maybe like 2 snaps before that, he catches the ball, no one's anywhere around him, and he falls like he always does. I don't know what that's about.
Like, did he lose some of his coordination or something? Like, I don't
think it's
get
like
it.
an equilibrium thing. Maybe it's like he got hit in the back of the cerebellum, and that's why his balance is messed up.
You mean
I
like
don't
an
know.
accident?
Could be, but I mean,
Yeah.
wasn't he doing that before the accident?
I feel like before the accident, he was just our stalwart, like tight end. Like, he was cooking everybody. But ever since then, he's been really, really on and off. I mean, he's had good touchdown producing seasons since that car accident. But I think you're right. Like, some of his coordination seems off sometimes. I mean, some of his decision making is off. I remember him trying to lateral the ball right before the half against I can't remember who last season, but he just doesn't look like vintage Mark Andrews. He looks like over the hill, like getting over the hill Mark Andrews, which is all the more important. Why you need Josh Cuevas and Matthew Hibner, at least one of those guys, to emerge as Lamar Jackson's new favorite wide target. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still high on Hibner, but I mean, it's remaining to be seen. It's definitely going to be interesting what's going to happen from the tight end room this year. But I think it's going to be weird because I think in years past there's always been a really strong tight end room and a big question mark on the wide receiver core.
Yeah.
I feel like in the middle of the season, this season, I think we're going to feel very comfortable with the wide receiver core and have a lot of question marks on the tight end core.
Yeah, I feel like that's true because I said earlier, I think the most intriguing, the wide receiver room right now is the most intriguing it's been in some years' time. I think the tight ends room, much like you just alluded to, is the most worrisome I felt about it in some years' time. So we'll have to see how that ends up shaking out. But you mentioned Zion Young earlier, real quick before I let you go. I do think that Zion Young is going to develop quick, fast, and in a hurry underneath Jesse Minter. I look at, I talk about it all the time, how Jesse Minter took the Chargers defense seemingly from like worst to first, right? In terms of like stats, points per game allowed, all that good stuff. But just the particular players, like young players that he developed quick, fast, and in a hurry in LA that nobody really talks about him. You had Deion Henley. I'm reading through some of them right now. It says he reached true breakout status under Minter during his third NFL season, leading the Chargers defense with 103 tackles and playing an elite 97% of defensive snaps. But nobody really talks about Deion Henley. Nobody talks about Tuli Tuipulotu either. I mean, even though he's a little bit more popular. But he continued rapid development into a foundational piece, playing 77% of the team's defensive snaps and earning a Pro Bowl selection for his performance in Minter's scheme. And then you also had guys in the secondary like Tarheeb Still, right? Drafted in the 5th round in 2024, developed rapidly under Minter as well. Got 773 snaps, 84%. So he's developing young guys who we've never really heard of. And when I say we, I mean like most general football fans have never really heard of. And he's turning them into solid pieces. So why couldn't he do that with a 2nd-round pick out of Mizzou in Zion Young, who already has the tools, already has the attitude, right? I think sky's the limit for a guy like that,
Yeah, and I mean, like the one thing that I would say is, like we know that he's lengthy and whatnot, but when you see him on the field, it's a totally different animal. I mean, when I looked at him on the field, I'm looking at his size. He's kind of built like I think he's about as maybe a little bit taller than Mark Andrews, and he's built the same way. Like he's a beefy big dude, like not small at all. And then like I was saying,
compare him to like a Mike Green. Like he's a bigger framed Mike Green type of player. Would you say that's fair?
I wouldn't necessarily even go there because I think Mike Green's going to be more of a pass rush specialist. I think Trey Hendrickson is the perfect person to be mentoring Mike Green with, and I think he's gonna, whenever it comes time for Mike Green to see about him getting a second contract, and then Trey Hendrickson, be kind of like the passing the torch of that in that manner, versus like a Zion Young. I would say he's a complete pass rusher in my personal opinion. He has the motor. He's a fuck it up kind of player. I mean, sky's the limit for him. I mean, he can show out by it might not even be the end of his rookie contract. Maybe by like year 2 or 3, he may be looked at as one of the perennial pass rushers in the league.
Yeah, pass rushers and hopefully run defenders too, because I definitely think that you're going to be able to line him up, pretty much 4 tech and beyond, and he's going to be effective. He's going to be able to be effective rushing from the inside, rushing from the outside, setting the edge to stop the run on these wide zone concepts that I'm sure teams are going to be throwing at us and things like that. So I could not be more excited for Zion Young, much like you, brother. But as Modi, so I'm going to let you go so I can move on to our last topics of the show. But thank you so much for coming through, brother. And make sure you come back next Wednesday. Is that cool?
Yep.
All right. Sounds good, man. Take care. I'll talk to you later.
I miss you.
All right, that was my guy Asmodeus, aka At the End of the Bar. Got himself a new channel name, or got himself a new profile name. Shout out to Asmodeus coming through as always. Now, let me see. Dylan Bauer says in the chat here, I'm worried about Jacoby balling out and his opponent, but they just keep giving Bateman more touches. And I think it's because he said, let me see, what did he say earlier? Is there a realistic chance Jacoby is wide receiver 2 by week 5, or are they going to default to Bateman no matter what? Absolutely not. They're not going to play any favorites for anybody in this wide receiver room not named Zay Flowers. Because now Zay Flowers is taking up about roughly 10% of the cap. They got to get him the ball. Everybody else, you got to get him where you fit in. So if Jacoby Lane comes in there and, in preseason, he's balling out. And like I said, guys, he's not going to play that much during the preseason. I think they know what they have in him, and they're going to want to try to reserve him until the regular season so he can actually play some meaningful snaps. But I would predict that you're going to see maybe 2 drives a game out of Jacoby Lane in the preseason. Outside of that, he's going to be on the bench or on the sideline resting up. But no, because I don't think they owe any loyalty to Rashad Bateman. I think they know what they have in Rashad. But at the end of the day, when they go out there in 11 personnel, it's going to be Zay, Bate, and Lane. It's going to be Zay, Bate, and Lane. And I think it has to be Lane at that wide receiver 3 over Tez Walker, just because of what he offers in terms of versatility of wide receivers on the field. That's what I think. Okay. Remember what we said earlier, Declan Doyle talking about how if you're building a wide receiver room, you want it to be a basketball team. That's why in 3 wide receiver sets, you're going to see Zay, Bate, and Tez. Oh, we got another gifted membership in the chat. Mikey gifting another membership here. Thank you so much, Mikey. And that one is going to Moggs420. Shout out to you, Moggs. Make sure you send a little thank you for our guy, Mikey, being Santa Claus here on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Thank you so much, brother. Let me scroll back up here. Don't forget to join the Rain Gang if you have not already. Like the video and subscribe if you are enjoying the content you are currently consuming. We still got some more topics to get into, so we're not done with this episode. Oh, I see Ashley, another member in the chat. What's going on, Ashley? Thank you for coming through. Good evening to you. Let me see. Chris says, I like pissing Sutton off more than I hate Bate. I want him to be healthy and play well. He's got to want it, though. I agree with that last one. A big criticism on Rashad Bateman is that he hasn't been a diva, basically. He's not a diva, and people want him to be kind of like that diva. You guys can hear Ace barking in the background. He doesn't like the Bate hate either. Let me see here. Afia says, yeah, he talked about stepping up when tight end 1 got injured or something. I forgot, but he definitely was saying he wants the ball more. He wants to be more than just a blocker. Who was that, Bateman? Talking about Bateman? I mean, because Bateman has the diva in him. You know what I'm saying? Obviously with the whole, my page got hacked, but clearly it was him. He's got some diva in him, but like he's more like a subtle diva. You know what I'm saying? Like he got to be like Bad Girls Club level diva. You know what I mean? You picking up what I'm putting down? Right? Like show me on the field. Right? Like go over to Lamar on the sideline and be like, with your helmet off and be like, hey, bro, I want the ball. I want to see body language telling me that you're frustrated. Don't just go onto the sideline and start playing in your next fashion release. That's not what I want to see. That's not what I'm here for. I need Bateman to start commanding the ball. Demand the ball. Because now your job's on the line. Because you see what this young kid, Jacoby Lane, is doing. Moss and Marlon Humphrey back and forth, making him look like a clown in practice. You know what I mean? He's really cooking everybody, Jacoby Lane. So, unless you want your chain snatch by Jacoby Lane, you got to step up. So I think it's going to light that fire under him. And that's all the more reason why I think Bateman will step up. Because now there is a legitimate threat to his claim to wide receiver 2 on this team. Coaches owe no loyalty to me. And also, we've got these young guys who are making plays early and often in training camp. Okay. All right. So a couple more things to get through here. I apologize if you guys can hear my dog in the background. He really wants me to take him outside, but I still have to finish up this episode of the show. Let's see. So, couple more things. What was the first one I wanted to go to? Oh, of course. So I got to bring up this QB tiers list really quick. I don't know if you guys have seen this before. I think some of you guys mentioned it to me yesterday on the show. But QB Tiers is live, and this is from TheAthletic, and how 50 executives and coaches are ranking 35 veteran quarterbacks. Okay, so they have it divided here into 4 tiers: Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, and Tier 4. Tiers 2 and 3 seem to be the most stacked tiers, right? Kind of like your middle of the pack, like above average, and then like average level, I'd say, quarterbacks, right? That's what it's kind of getting at. But number 1 through 4, which is the entire Tier 1, Patrick Mahomes number 1, Josh Allen number 2, Matthew Stafford is also tied for number 2, and then you have Burrow number 4. I mean, okay, what are we doing? And then Lamar Jackson number 5. Right after Lamar, you have Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Drake May, Jared Goff, Jordan Love. The list goes on and on. Okay, and I can't really wrap my mind around, and I'm so tired of list season. I barely even wanted to mention this here on the show because I'm sick and tired of list season. However, I did want to bring this up because 50 executives and coaches, Joe Burrow being above Lamar Jackson always bothers me. So I would love to ask these 50 executives, hey, look, what makes Joe Burrow definitively a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson? Is the only thing we're hanging our hat on is that Joe Burrow went to a Super Bowl 5 years ago? Is that it? In the last 3 seasons, Joe Burrow has missed 3 times as many games as Lamar Jackson. Right? Hasn't even made the playoffs in the last 3 seasons. Hasn't even made the playoffs. So, show me a metric where Joe Burrow is clearly a much better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. Just show me. You know what I hate the most, chat? Because a lot of these executives, whoever's voting on this list, right? They would say, oh, well, Lamar Jackson, he's coming off of an injury. We don't know if he's going to look the same. For that reason, we'll put Joe Burrow ahead of him. It's like, Joe Burrow's literally coming off an injury as well. But see, here's what they do. When Lamar's coming off of an injury, it's like, oh, he'll never be the same. But it doesn't matter if Joe Burrow's coming off of an injury as well. They expect him to be just as awesome as what, 2021 Joe? Patrick Mahomes, step into my office. How's that knee doing, Pat? Yeah, the knee that you just split open last season. Tore his whole ACL right off the bone. Yet, he's at number 1. No injury concern for Patrick Mahomes. Now, granted, he's been to 5 Super Bowl, won 3. So I'm not mad. I'm not all the way mad at him being number 1, maybe number 2, whatever. Josh Allen, they're going to anoint Josh no matter what. As long as he doesn't, I don't know what Josh Allen would have to do to fall out of the top 5 quarterbacks in this league. I just don't know. He could genuinely, Josh Allen could go out there this season, throw for 24 touchdowns in 16 interceptions, maybe go one and done in the playoffs. He'll still be top 3. Yeah, I can't compete with that. But it's all good though. It's all good. I remember going into last season, you had some similar narratives. But going into last season, Lamar Jackson was statistically the best quarterback. And through 4 weeks before he missed time, he was statistically the best quarterback in the world. So how soon they forget, it's literally like amnesia with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, unfortunately, has to update his resume twice as much as everybody else in the top 5 or top 10. Because if you notice, Justin Herbert's right below Lamar. So, Lamar's 3-5 in the playoffs. What's Justin Herbert in the playoffs? How many playoff wins does he have? He has a goose egg. 0. Zilch. Nada. None. Right? So, how disrespectfully as possible, how the hell are we going to put Justin Herbert 1 spot below Lamar Jackson? It's disrespectful. It's just disrespectful. And Lamar's not going to talk about it, so damn it, we will. But I'm going to just leave that at that. Void with the $5 super chat donation. Let me go ahead and see what Void's talking about here. Treat Ace as if he were bait in dog form. Give him his walk. I got him. Thank you for the jewels, Mikey. But I got him. He knows he's going. It's kind of past his walk time. He was supposed to go out maybe like 30 minutes ago, but he'd be all right. He know Pops is at work right now. Pops is at work. Duty calls. You'll be all right, boy. All right. So, but thank you so much, Void, for coming through, donating. What else do we have? 2 more things, I believe, that we need to get to. Aaron Donald. The Rams had defensive tackle Aaron Donald in for a workout today. And we don't have to spend too much time on this. We've kind of talked about the prospect of Aaron Donald coming back and playing for the Rams once again alongside Myles Garrett and company. But as the days go by, like I told Alex and the rest of you guys on Monday, the poly market odds, however you think about those, they shot up mysteriously on Monday. They were around maybe 50-50. They shot up to 93% or something like that. So I think that there's been some insider information tossed around and that he's definitely going to be coming back. Afia says in the chat, says, just sign him already so we can stop talking about this. Yeah, I agree. But I started thinking. I said, I feel sorry. I feel so sorry for the teams who are going to have to play this Rams team first. The Rams, I can't remember who they play on week 1, but I know who they play in week 2. Let me see. Who do they play? Who do the Rams play week 1? Let's see. 49ers. They've got the 49ers week 1. Okay. Got it. And that's going to be on primetime, Thursday, September 10th on Netflix. Should be a good one. I feel sorry for the Niners, though. I feel sorry for Brock Purdy. But week 2, he's got them New York Football Giants, baby. And I can't wait to see. It's going to be a generational hate watch because it's Monday Night Football, too. Giants at Rams. Giants at Rams on Monday Night Football. You're having Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterboo against Aaron Donald, Myles Garrett, Byron Young, Trent McDuffie, and some other studs on that defense as well. Good freaking luck. Good luck. Oh, is it in Australia? Or maybe it's just a designated home game for the Rams. Damn, we're in Australia now? The NFL's in Australia? Is that new? I feel like that's new. Either way. So we're rooting for Harbs that game? Absolutely not. Queendom Come says it here. Can't wait to see Harbum get dog walked. That's what I'm talking about. I can't wait to see it either. I cannot wait to see it either. And then we get to watch that New York media because that's a huge market. They don't play. You know what I'm saying? They don't just got like podcasts and stuff like that. They're huge on radio there. And I know we got radio stations in Baltimore and stuff like that, but like it's still like one of the main mediums of media in New York. So I'll be tuning in. Your boy will be tuning into some local New York media just to hear how the tone shift. I want to hear when and where it happens. You know what I'm saying? The tone shift. Oh, okay, is Harbaugh the guy? Were Ravens fans right about him? We'll see. And I know I sound like a bitter ex, but who cares? Right? Last thing I had for you guys. Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs is finally off the market. Former Patriots wide receiver Stefon Diggs is set to sign with the Commanders with an offseason at full health. Diggs is ready to hit the ground running as a key weapon for Jaden Daniels in year 3. The quarterback-friendly wide receiver should help. Sources also say Stefon Diggs signing a 1-year deal worth up to $12 million with the Commanders. So all of you guys out there, who were, begging for Diggs, it's over with. You can rest now. It's over. I didn't want him here at all. I didn't want the distraction. I didn't want him taking away from Zay Flowers or anybody else's in that wide receiver room for that matter, taking away their targets. Now was the time for the Ravens to develop. Okay, we used to just, hey, let's get a mercenary wide receiver. We got Lamar. We got a great defense. Let's go get a mercenary wide receiver. We've done it for years. It's amounted to nothing. Now that there's completely new philosophies and brain power in the building, now let's start trying to develop our own talent. We don't need Stefon Diggs, and we damn sure don't need to be paying him $12 million as a rental just to take away receptions from our $140 million wide receiver one in Zay Flowers. I was good off that. I was so cool off of Stefon Diggs. But yeah, now you have Stefon Diggs as a Commander now. Jaden Daniels was going to be healthy this season. He's got now, let's think through some of the Commander's weapons. So you got Jaden Daniels, of course. You've got Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, a.k.a. Bill Merritt. I believe you have Rashad White. You have Terry McLaurin. And now you have Stefon Diggs. Still mid. Still mid, if you ask me. Still mid, if you ask me. Some people around the league, oh, their receiving core is better than the Ravens. Is it? Is it? Is it? Does this make the Commanders receiving core better than the Ravens receiving core? Because me personally, I've got Zay over Terry McLaurin and Stefon Diggs. I do. Me personally, I think Rashad Bateman is going to exceed expectations this season in this Declan Doyle offense. I think that Jacoby Lane could even make some huge waves this year as well. Just based off of what we've seen so far, Lamar Jackson will give him the opportunities in game. And all it's going to take is a couple of plays during the regular season, Lamar just kind of throwing it up to Jacoby Lane and him coming down with it, for Lamar Jackson to have full trust in him. And then before you know it, national media is going to start picking it up. Oh, this kid Jacoby Lane out of Baltimore. You're going to start hearing more and more. Oh, he's making plays, this and that. I'm taking the Ravens wide receiving core. If we could swap receiving cores right now, would you do it? Would you do it? Would you do it? I wouldn't. No, because we also have youth on our side. I agree. Let me see. Void disagreeing here says Zay is better or equal to Terry. Better than Diggs. Both better than Bate. So yeah, they got it. I wouldn't trade it. King Lee says, hell yeah, nah, bro. What up, King Lee? But nah, I wouldn't trade it. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Not me. I believe in our young guys. I believe in this coaching staff actually being able to develop a wide receiver room. That's what I believe. I believe in Kerry Colbert, Declan Doyle, Jesse Minter, who I think is going to have his handprints all over this offense. Like I mentioned last week, Jesse Minter is a defensive-minded head coach, but that will make him better in terms of like him helping out with the offensive game plan, because he's not going to be all locked into the defense and be like, Declan, offense is your thing. I'm never coming in the meeting rooms. We're never collaborating. It's all on you. That's not what's going to happen. Him as head coach, he's going to have his hands in the offense just as much as he has his hands in the defense. And him being that defensive-minded guy is going to bring value to this offense because they're going to be prepared for anything. So I got my young guys, especially with these coaches. I think the coaches really elevate the value of the young guys on this team. Okay. Dylan says Zay Flowers wants Lamar Jackson to stay with the Ravens equally as long. Yeah, I mean, I heard that earlier as well. I mean, that's kind of like a non-news thing to me because we knew that, right? So Zay Flowers wants Lamar Jackson to be a Raven as long as he's a Raven. They're boys. They work out together and stuff like that outside of training camp. Yeah, I expected that. Now, do I think that this will incline Lamar Jackson to sign a deal so he can stay with his boy Zay? Lamar, who's already making what, 50 mil a year? I think he might take a little bit of a discount to stay with his boy, especially if Zay Flowers goes the heck off this season. If Zay Flowers finishes this season as like top 3, top 5 wide receivers, like statistically, then yeah, I can see Lamar Jackson saying, okay, now I want to, we're keeping this. And if Declan Doyle and Jesse and Anthony Weaver prove to be like a trifecta of coaches, I can see Lamar taking a little bit of a discount. Right now, he's like, we still got to see it. And I'm damn sure not signing anything right now after the type of season we had last year, which I totally understand. So, but who knows? We'll see when it's time for Lamar to sign his deal. We shall see. He doesn't need to take a discount, but I think he might be more amenable to it. And when I say a discount, I'm not talking about something huge. I'm not talking about something crazy, but like just something that, okay, I see what we got going on here. Maybe I'll go the Tom Brady route. I'll take a little bit less. I've already made a huge contract. I've already gotten a huge contract a couple of years ago in 23. Now I'm at a point in my career, maybe I do need a little bit more help around me. I'll take a little bit less. That way we can keep some of these other pieces as well. So we'll see. Wants to see how the new offense pans out, especially the O-line. I agree, Smitty. I agree. Jonathan Johnson says Bateman was supposed to do media today, but it was canceled. The saxophones are getting loud. Yeah, we covered that earlier, Jonathan. We covered that earlier. I don't know. Somebody had told me in my comment section earlier that they saw him in the background of a Mark Andrews interview kind of limping around. Again, can't confirm how true that is myself because I have not seen that clip myself. But if he was scheduled to talk and he didn't talk, normally that can be the reason. It's like, hey, look, you don't stand up in front of all these people and talk today. If you're hurt, just go home, rest up, come back tomorrow. We'll try it again. Jeff Zarebeck, again, told me personally on Twitter that it was just a shuffle, a last-minute shuffle, and that there's no conspiracy behind it. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show here, guys. Before we do get out of here, I want to give you guys a quick reminder that our Rain Gang Fantasy League is live. It's very much so live. We will be drafting, let me see the date, Thursday, August 27th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, you might be asking, like, hey, Sutton, how do I join the Rain Gang Fantasy League? Well, guess what? It's only for members. We got a lot of members here in the chat, a lot of members here on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, and we appreciate you guys for that. So we're only opening up this year's league to the members. So if you are a member of the channel and you want to join the Rain Gang Fantasy League, the instructions to do so are on our channel page, okay? If you go on our channel homepage and you go over to the post tab, one of the most recent posts should be the instructions, and that post is only visible to members, by the way. It should give you instructions on how to sign up for the league, okay? And the winner for this year's Rain Gang Fantasy League will get a free Next Flight jersey. Mike says, I'm down. Okay. All right, Mike. Well, you gotta let me know. Let me know. Send me we'll go on the page, right? Go on our channel page and find that post and then follow those instructions. And we'll get you in there. Boy says Ace can go outside now. Yes, take Ace outside. I'm gonna post a picture on the post tab of the channel as well of me taking him outside in just a couple minutes, how happy he is, right? I'm gonna do that. By the way, Ace is gonna be a big part of this season, by the way, because I'm going to be live streaming during the games. And I'm sure, like, when I watch games, he likes to sit next to me, curl up in a little ball, get excited when I get excited, a touchdown or a bad play or turnover or something like that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So make sure you stay tuned for that, because we got a lot of content coming out here from the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. I'm not sure if you guys already noticed, but we've got a new series called the Reigning Ravens Report, R3, maybe I'll call it, where it's like 10 to 12 minute videos of me recapping what's going on daily in the Ravens world. It's been a lot of fun to make. I know a lot of you guys have been enjoying watching those so far. So if you have not already checked out that series, it is on the channel. Make sure you check that out after this. But until next time, which is Thursday, I'll be with Alex tomorrow on the main pod. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay positive, test negative. Never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. And may purple rain. Peace.
You're watching Quiet Storm Sports on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Subscribe for more Ravens content.